Tiger looked at it, then looked away, then looked back. The more Tiger looked, the worse it seemed. Finally, Tiger declared, "I can no longer unsee it." So, we adjusted it again. This time it was perfect. At least for 3 minutes. Then a gust of wind arrived. The banners started flapping. The entire arch started wobbling. The left pillar leaned slightly. The right pillar leaned more. The top section tilted. Everyone froze. Visitors nearby also froze. The arch leaned farther, farther, farther. Then, crash. The entire structure collapsed. Not dramatically, not explosively, just very slowly, like a tired giraffe deciding to sit down. For several seconds, nobody said anything. Finally, Tiger pointed at the pile. Tiger said, "Well." Cat replied, "Well." Goat added, "Very well." Snake nodded, "Extremely well." Then all of us started laughing. Fortunately, nothing was damaged beyond repair. The problem was clear. The base wasn't wide enough. So we rebuilt it. This time we created larger support feet hidden beneath decorative bushes. The bushes looked pretty. The supports improved stability. Everyone was happy. Especially Snake. Snake loved stable structures. By late afternoon, the welcome arch was finally standing tall. Visitors stopped to admire it. Several teams even came over to inspect how it had been built. One rabbit asked how we created the curved top. Snake happily explained the technique. Another visitor asked how the lanterns were made. Goat demonstrated the folding process. A squirrel asked about the miniature booths. Cat explained every step. Meanwhile, Tiger answered questions about decorations. Unfortunately, Tiger became slightly overenthusiastic. One visitor asked, How did you attach the flags?" Tiger spent 10 full minutes explaining flag attachment theory. The visitor looked fascinated, then confused, then impressed, then confused again. As the afternoon continued, our project became one of the busiest displays in the competition. Children loved spotting hidden details. Adults admired the craftsmanship. Photographers took pictures. Even the judges stopped by briefly. That made everyone nervous, especially Tiger. Tiger suddenly became extremely concerned about everything. A lantern looked crooked. A sign looked tilted. A flower looked suspicious. A tiny bench looked uneven. Tiger ran around making adjustments. Cat finally said, "Tiger, relax." Tiger answered, "I am relaxed." At that exact moment, Tiger accidentally walked into a chair. The chair disagreed. The chair fell over. Tiger nearly fell over. The lantern remained perfectly fine. Cat smiled, very relaxed. As sunset approached, the festival lights began turning on. Strings of lights stretched across the boulevard. The warm glow transformed the entire street. Our miniature display looked even better beneath the evening lighting. Then Snake had another idea. Everyone immediately became cautious. Snake noticed our supply box still contained tiny battery-powered lights. Snake suggested installing them inside the miniature booths. The idea sounded amazing. Tiny glowing shops. Tiny glowing lanterns. Tiny glowing decorations. We loved it. So we carefully began installation. The process required patience. Very small wires had to be hidden beneath the cardboard base. Tiny holes were punched through the platform. The lights were secured using tape. Connections were checked repeatedly. Finally, everything was ready. Snake dramatically announced, "Moment of truth." Everyone gathered around. Snake flipped the switch. The miniature festival suddenly glowed. Tiny lanterns shined. Tiny shops lit up. Tiny streets sparkled. The crowd nearby gasped. The effect was magical. Even we were surprised. For a few moments, nobody spoke. Then Tiger whispered, "Okay, this is awesome." Everyone agreed. The display looked better than we had imagined. Visitors began gathering again. Children pointed excitedly. Adults smiled. Photographers took even more pictures. The judges returned for a second look. That seemed like a very good sign. But the biggest surprise of the day was still waiting for us. And it would arrive in the form of a challenge from another team. A challenge that would lead to one of the funniest handicraft contests Buffalo, Tiger, cat, snake, and goat had ever experienced. The evening lights were glowing. Music floated through the festival streets. The scent of fresh pastries and fruit drinks drifted through the air. Families walked along the boulevard. Students celebrated their exam success. And our miniature festival street was attracting more visitors than ever. The tiny lanterns glowed warmly. The welcome arch stood proudly. The miniature booths looked lively. Everything seemed perfect. Naturally, that was the exact moment something unexpected happened. A group from another handicraft team approached our table. Their leader was Horse. Horse was friendly and energetic. Beside Horse stood Monkey, Dog, and Pig. All of them smiled as they examined our display. Horse looked around carefully. Then Horse said, "Your project is impressive." Tiger immediately stood straighter. Cat smiled. Goat looked pleased. Snake nodded politely. I thanked them. Horse continued, "We have an idea." Whenever someone said those words at a festival, interesting things usually followed. Monkey stepped forward. Monkey explained, "What if our teams participate in a friendly mini-challenge?" Dog grinned. Pig nodded excitedly. Tiger asked, "What kind of challenge?" Horse pointed toward a nearby activity area. The festival organizers had prepared extra craft supplies for visitors. Horse suggested that each team build a surprise handicraft creation within 1 hour. Visitors would vote for their favorite. There would be no official prize. Just fun. Tiger immediately said yes. Actually, Tiger said yes before Horse finished explaining. Cat laughed. Goat laughed. Snake quietly whispered. Tiger accepts challenges faster than he reads instructions. Tiger proudly replied, "Confidence." Snake replied, "Speed." Everyone laughed. Soon both teams gathered around a long crafting table. The rules were simple. Each team would receive identical supplies. Cardboard, colored paper, wooden sticks, ribbon, glue, markers, buttons, yarn. Visitors could watch the process. At the end of 1 hour, everyone would vote. The organizers rang a small bell. The challenge began. Our team quickly started discussing ideas. Tiger suggested building a giant dragon. Cat suggested building a giant library. Goat suggested building a giant lantern. Snake suggested building a giant mechanical flower. Everyone looked at me. I thought for a moment. Then I said, "What if we build a miniature celebration park with moving parts?" The group became interested immediately. A moving display would attract attention. Snake especially liked the idea. Snake loved engineering solutions. We divided responsibilities. I would build the base. Cat would create decorative buildings. Goat would make flowers and trees. Tiger would handle signs and decorations. Snake would create the moving mechanism. The plan sounded excellent, at least in theory. The first 20 minutes went smoothly. I created a circular park layout using thick cardboard. The center would contain a rotating platform. Several paths extended outward. The design resembled a festival plaza. Meanwhile, Cat built miniature celebration booths. One sold books. One sold crafts. One sold snacks. Every booth contained tiny details, tiny signs, tiny shelves, tiny decorations. Visitors watching nearby seemed amazed. One child asked how Cat made such small windows. Cat explained, "First, draw a rectangle. Then carefully cut out the center. Then glue thin strips around the frame." The child nodded seriously. Then spent the next few minutes telling everyone nearby that Cat was a crafting wizard. Cat looked very proud. Goat worked beside us creating trees. The process was surprisingly detailed. First, Goat twisted yarn around wooden sticks to form trunks. Then small paper leaves were attached individually. Layer after layer, branch after branch. Soon an entire miniature grove appeared. One visitor asked how many leaves were attached. Goat counted, then stopped counting, then started counting again, then gave up. Everyone agreed there were a lot. Meanwhile, Snake focused on the moving platform. This became the most technically challenging part. Snake wanted the center platform to rotate when a handle was turned. The mechanism used cardboard gears. Tiny cardboard gears. Very tiny cardboard gears. First, Snake drew circular templates. Then each gear tooth was carefully cut. Next came assembly. The gears needed perfect alignment. Too tight, and they wouldn't move. Too loose, and they would slip. Visitors gathered around to watch. Even the organizers stopped by. Snake adjusted one gear. Then another. Then another. Finally, the mechanism moved. Slowly. Smoothly. Successfully. The crowd applauded. Snake smiled. For Snake, that was basically the equivalent of jumping up and down with excitement. Then there was Tiger. Tiger's job sounded simple. Decorations. Again, history suggested this could become dangerous. And history was correct. Tiger began creating colorful signs. The signs looked fantastic. Bright colors. Bold lettering. Cheerful messages. Everything was going wonderfully, until Tiger reached for a glue bottle. The bottle slipped. Tiger caught it. The cap flew off. The glue bottle survived. Tiger's paw did not. One paw became extremely sticky. Tiger tried removing the glue. Unfortunately, Tiger touched a ribbon. The ribbon became attached. Tiger removed the ribbon. Then touched a paper flower. The flower became attached. Then a sign. Then another ribbon. Soon Tiger resembled a walking craft display. Visitors started laughing. Monkey pointed and said, "Tiger, are you entering the contest as a project?" Tiger looked down. Several decorations waved gently from one arm. Tiger sighed dramatically. "I have become art." Even Snake laughed. That alone proved how funny the situation was. After a cleanup operation involving tissues, patience, and much laughter, Tiger returned to work. With 15 minutes remaining, our project looked fantastic. The rotating platform worked. The trees looked beautiful. The booths looked lively. The decorations looked colorful. Visitors frequently stopped to watch. Then disaster nearly struck. A gear jammed. The rotating platform stopped moving. Snake immediately investigated. Everyone became nervous. Visitors leaned closer. Snake carefully examined the mechanism. One tiny paper leaf had fallen inside the gear system. The leaf was smaller than a fingernail, yet it completely stopped the movement. Snake removed it. The gears worked again. The crowd cheered. Tiger announced dramatically, "The park has been saved." Snake replied, "It was one leaf." Tiger nodded. "A very dangerous leaf." The final 10 minutes became a race against time. I added benches.